Okay, so in today's lecture, we will discuss this two topic. Okay, so that we require that where we can use this authentication applications. Okay, so or what are the different authentication techniques? Like in the last unit, we have discussed that why we require this authentication, what is the need of this authentication, what are the role of authenticator in that. Okay, so what are the different methods for that authentication? Okay, so what do we require authentication when we want to make both the sender and the receiver, and we want to confirm them that both the entries are and both the entities are true to each other. Okay, or both the entries are, we can say that both these entries are certified person to each other. So sender must have that full certification that the receiver end is the right person, and same at the receiver end also. So it must understand that from which source that particular data is coming, that is the correct one. So that is the role of that authentication application. Now in this particular lecture, we will discuss these two application. One is Kerberos and the second one is X.509. Okay, so Kerberos and X.509, these are the main two applications that we will discuss regarding this authentication part. Okay, so what is a Kerberos? That it provides a it provides centralized authentication. Okay, that is server. Centralized authentication server is there. Okay, so whose function is to authenticate users to servers. So why we require this authentication application? Just to check that we need to authenticate that the users to the server. So like, I hope you are clear the concept of that server and the client. Okay, so what is server and client? Who is the client that is asking for something, and servers is what that is responding to that particular query of that particular client. Okay, so what is the purpose of Kerberos is that it is a centralized authentication server that give authentication, that is whose function is to authenticate users to servers. Okay, so it will tell that particular thing to the server, that all those clients are the authentic one. Okay, and vice versa also, and it also provides that knowledge of server to the user, that the respective server is the true one. So this is the basically a centralized authentication server. Centralized means it will be available at the central part of both the user and the end. So Kerberos is acting in between the server and the client part. Okay, so what it is depicting, it is giving confirmation to the server that client is true, and it is also giving confirmation to the client that service is true. Clear? So this is the purpose of that Kerberos part. So again, that Kerberos provides centralized authentication server whose function is to authorize the user to servers and server to users. Second thing is that so in this Kerberos authentication servers, we use this authentication server and database is used for, that is, it is used for client authentication. So what we are discussing over here, that we have a authentication server in this particular Kerberos, and we have a database that we use both this concept for the client authentication. So if you want to authenticate your client, so you must require authentication server for that. Okay, so there must be some authentication server and there must be some database available. Okay, so that will help you to detect that the particular client is the authentic client. Okay, so always Kerberos runs on as a third party trusted service. So it always act as a third party. You understand that it will be a third component apart from your server and the client. So in any type of a we can say that transferring, we have two things, that is a sender and the receiver part. But Kerberos will run as a third party trusted server. Okay, so it will be acting as a third party trusted server over here, which is known, and it is known as a KDC. KDC, that is Key Distribution Center. Okay, so it acts as a third party trusted server known as a KDC. So we will see that Kerberos is acting as a third party trusted servers. So what is the name for that third party trusted server? That is KDC, that is Key Distribution Center. So this will be the functioning of your Kerberos also, that it will be in charge of, or it will be monitoring all those key distribution in that particular system. Clear? So we have a main components of Kerberos. So I think you are clear with this definition of this Kerberos part. So Kerberos is basically a centralized authentication server. Centralized authentication server that will authenticate the clients to server and server to clients. Okay. The second thing is that authentication server and database is used for client authentication. So if we want to make a client authentic, what we do, we will have that authentication server and database for that particular client authentication in case of this Kerberos part. So in Kerberos, meanwhile, we have discussed that we have authentication server, that is AS. There will be one database. So one thing is that authentication server, second thing is your database, and third thing is your KDC, that is a third key distribution center. So all these things are the key terms that we use in the case of Kerberos. Clear? So next is that what are the different components of this Kerberos part? So we will see that what are the different components of this Kerberos part. So main component of Kerberos. Okay, so the very first one is the client. Second one is your server. Okay, third one is your authentication server. Authentication and fourth one is the key distribution center. Okay, so these are some of the, we can say that the main components of the Kerberos. So if you want to implement all those things, you need all these things in your system. So we have a client, a server, authentication server, and a key distribution center. Okay, so this particular key distribution center will have three things in it. One is your database, another one is your authentication server, and the last one is the ticket granting server. Okay, so all these three things are available in your key distribution center. So we can individually also tell that in Kerberos we have this authentication server, but this authentication server is available in your key distribution center, that is KDC. Next we have a ticket granting service. Ticket granting service. So we have TGS, that is ticket granting service. So what this ticket granting service will do, this is an application server that issues service ticket as a service. So that will issue service ticket as a service over here. So we will discuss all those things, that how this functioning of Kerberos can occur. But you must keep all these things in your mind, that what are the different components of a Kerberos. So very first one is the client part. So in that client portion, what is that client part? that will be request for some particular type of a server. Okay, so client is a user and it will initiate that communication for a service request. It will ask you for some particular service. That is the functioning of that particular client over here. Next we have a service over here, server over here. So what is that server? That will host the service of user. Okay, so that will host means that will we can say that that will reply the service that has been asked by the client. Okay, so that will process that particular request, that what is the requirement of that user. So that is the functioning of the server over here. So client is what? That is starting that particular communication, that is asking some for particular type of a data. Okay, and what is that server? Server is responding to that particular request. Okay, so server is what? That is hosting the service of user who want to access that particular system. Clear? Next we have that authentication server. So the third one is your authentication server. So what is the functioning of this authentication server? That will perform the desired client authentication. Okay, so what will do this authentication server? Why we require this authentication server? For this client authentication. Okay, so for the client authentication, we require this particular authentication server. So if your client is authentic, it will give you that particular TGT. Okay, so it will issue a it will issue that particular client a ticket which is known as a TGT, that is a ticket granting ticket. Okay, so TGT is what? That is a ticket granting ticket. Okay, so that it will be issued by the authentication server if your client is the right one. Okay, so if your client is authentic, then it will issue a ticket over here that is known as a TGT. Okay, ticket granting ticket over here. Okay, so next is that is the key distribution center. So in that key distribution center, so we can say that this this key distribution center will consist of all these three components. One is your DB, that is your database. Second one is your authentication server. Okay, and the third one is your TGS, that is the ticket granting server. So we have authentication server over here, a ticket granting server over here, and a database over here. So all these three things will be existing in the single server known as a key distribution center. Clear? So we have a ticket granting. Last component is also that ticket granting server. Okay. So we have a ticket granting server over here. So what is the function of this ticket granting server? Okay. So this TGS is an application server that will issue service ticket as a service. Okay. So it will issue all those tickets to the as a service who will ask for that particular inquiry. Okay, so the TGS is an application server that issues service tickets as a service over here. Okay, all these things we will discuss all those things in detail with the help of a diagram. So before that, moving further, you must keep all these things in your mind that if you want to implement that Kerberos part, you must have a client with you, okay, that will initiate that communication, that will be asking for some particular data. Okay, then we have a servers that will request that particular, that will process the request of a client. We have authentication server that will provide you the client authentication. Clear? And the third one is the key distribution center, which is the in which we have authentication server is there, a database will be there, and the ticket granting server will be there. Okay, so what basically ticket granting server is that issues service ticket as a service, that will tell you that what are the different type of a ticket that it must issue to that particular service part. Clear? Now the next thing is that we have a in Kerberos there are three important keys over here. So first of all we have discussed the definition of that Kerberos part. Now then we have discussed that what are the different component of Kerberos. Next is that we have a three important secret keys in this. So in Kerberos we have a three important secret key. So we have a client or user secret key, client or user secret key. Okay, so we have a client or user secret key. Then we have a TGS secret key. Then we have server secret key. So sometimes in 2 marks question, there could be a question that what are the different keys that we use in Kerberos. So we have all these keys with us. That is a client or a user secret key. Okay. So in this, what will happen? We have a hash derived by the user password. So what happened now? Let's suppose we take an example of some email account. Okay. So we have a username and password in that. So that is for the authentication. So once you log in that particular system with the help of your username and a password, a hash function will be there. Okay. So what that particular hash will be there. So whatever the password you will be giving to that particular account, that password will be used as a hash function in that particular case. Clear? So we will be using that particular hash derived by the user password that we will give it to login for that particular system. Okay. So then we have TGS secret key. So ticket granting service may also we use a secret key over here that will be also using some hash function on that particular key. Okay. So just keep in mind all these terms, and if you are clear with all these things, then only you will be able to understand the diagram. Okay. Then we have a server secret key. Okay, so in that server secret key, what will we do? That we have a hash of the password to determine the server offering the service. So in the case of a server, if you are using that particular server, again, whatever the password you will be used to log in into that particular server, that will be converted into the hash function. Okay, so we will again convert that particular thing into the hash part over here. So all these things are the important secret keys that we use. So at the client side, that client use a key or in the form of a password. Okay, and we just change that password into that particular hash value over here. Then we have a TGS, that is a ticket granting server. Okay, so what that ticket granting server will do, that will be used by that particular while issuing the particular ticket to a client, that the client is the right one. Again, we require a key over there. Okay, then we have a server secret key over here. So in that server key, secret key, what will happen, that we will again see that whatever the password we require to determine the server offering the service. So all these keys are used by the particular represented person. Like here, secret key will be used by the server. In here we use the ticket granting server that will also use a secret key, and we have a secret key associated with the client or the user also. Clear? So this was regarding that introductory part. So how this communication will occur, that we will discuss with the help of a particular diagram. So for that diagram, I just draw that particular diagram over here. So you just go through all these points. Meanwhile, I just draw that diagram. Okay, it may take 3-4 minutes. So because that diagram is quite bigger one, so I just stop my video, and you just wait for other 2-3 minutes, and meanwhile I will make the diagram on the blackboard. Okay, students, this is the diagram for this Kerberos part, that how all this function, how all the steps are implemented in the case of a Kerberos. So as you know that in the case of a Kerberos, we need to authenticate both the server, both the server to the client and all the clients to the server. So we have some components that we have discussed in the case of this Kerberos part, that is required while implementing all those Kerberos thing. Okay, so we have like so client is there, server is there, we have authentication server, KDC is there, and we have a ticket granting service in that. Okay, so here what we do discuss, I know there could be some problem in the visibility of this blackboard, but you just listen to me carefully, and we will discuss each and every step in detail, and after that I will give you notes also for the same thing. Okay, so you can go through that particular notes part also. So what we require in the case of a this Kerberos part, that the first thing is that we have authentication server. Okay, so what we discuss over here, that we have authentication. We have a first thing, first component of this Kerberos part is the client portion over here. Okay, so we have a client portion, and in that particular, here is your our client is there, and here we have a this server part also here. Okay, client is there, server is there. Again we have that KDC over here. What is that KDC? That is the key distribution center. Okay, so we have a key distribution center over here. So what will happen? Okay, student, just wait for a while. Okay. Coming back to our topic, we have a client over here that we have already discussed, that in the case of a Kerberos, we have this first component. Then we have a server over here. Then there is a field known as a KDC. That is a key distribution center. So what we say that the functioning of Kerberos is acting, that it acts as a third party authorization. So it is acting as a third party authorization in between these two things. Okay, so all the identification, all that authentication will be occurring through this particular KDC part over here. Clear? So what we do, that we have a client part. So these are some of the steps we need to follow, all these six steps over here. So what we will do over here, that the very first step is that client will request for the ticket. Okay, and it will ask for that authentication server regarding that particular ticket. Okay, so first of all, client will request the ticket. Okay, and authentication server will grant that particular ticket to the client. So in that particular ticket, what will be there? There will be a ticket also and a session key also. Okay, so we have a ticket also and a session key also. So what it will do, so the very first thing is that user will log on to the workstation, and it will request service on the particular part. Okay, so it will request the service on that particular on that host. So user means the client. So user will be log on to this particular workstation, you understand now? So workstation is that particular area on which your user will log in. So user will log in on that particular workstation, and it will request the service on that from that particular host. Okay, so it will request that particular thing. After that, what will happen? AS, that is authentication server. So this is your authentication server. It will verify the user access rights. It will see that either it can provide ticket to that particular user or not. Okay, it will AS verifies user access rights in order to create ticket. So okay, so it will create a ticket over here with a ticket granting server. ठीक है. So results are also encrypted using the key derived from the user password. So as you know that user will log in onto the system using its password. So what will happen? Its password will be used as a hash code. Okay, so that we have also discussed that we have a different keys over here. So what will happen? That results will be encrypted using the key derived from the user password. So we will be using a user password key over here that will use to us to grant ticket to that particular user. So this was the we can say that first step in which user just log into that system and it will request for the authentication part, request for the ticket and the granting ticket. So authentication server, what it will do, it will see the access rights of the user, that whether it can whether it can provide rights to that client or not. So it will provide its ticket plus the session key. So this session key is made from the password of the user. Okay, so we can use that particular hash code on that particular user password over here. Okay, so it is also done. Third step is what? So we are completed with the first step. Second step में authentication server ने क्या किया? It provides ticket plus the session key. Session key कहाँ से generate हुई? Client के ही password से हमारे पास. Next is that the third step is that it will request again, that client will request for the service granting ticket. Service granting ticket. That means first authentication हुई client की, कि whether we can give rights to that particular client to use that system or not. ठीक है, वो चीज हमने वेरीफाई कर दी. वो कैसे की? by using the password of the system. So you know that once you want to log into that particular account, so what you do, you just log in with that particular username password. So if you are authentic user, your username and password will match with each other. ओके और अगर आप इफ यू डोंट हैव एनी राइट्स फॉर दैट, अगर आपका पासवर्ड सही नहीं है या आपके पास राइट नहीं है दैट यू कैन नॉट असेस दैट पर्टिकुलर थिंग, वो सारा स्टेप्स हमारे कहाँ पर हो रहे हैं? ऑल दीज स्टेप्स आर बीइंग डन इन दिस फर्स्ट टू स्टेप्स. Clear? So पहले two steps are related with the password part, where it will just confirm that the user one is a right person or not. Next is that the client will request for the service granting ticket. So what will happen, that workstation prompt user for password and user's password to decrypt the incoming message. So it will give that authentication and it will give that particular ticket. So what will do, it will request for that service granting ticket. अगेन हमारे पास क्या आ रही है? टिकट आ रही है और सेशन की आ रही है. अब इस सेशन की में क्या होगा? इट विल कंटेन द यूजर नेम, network address and the time to the TGS, that is a ticket granting server. So ticket granting server will provide its user all those things, that what is the particular user who have logged into that particular system in order to assess that user part. ठीक है, तो वो सारी चीजों का राइट कौन देगा हमारे पास? अगेन दैट टिकट ग्रांटिंग सर्वर. पहला पार्ट किस लिए था? द फर्स्ट थिंग दैट वी वर यूजिंग दैट वाज रिगार्डिंग द क्लाइंट ऑथेंटिकेशन. Second part is that it needs to request for the service granting ticket. Service means all those services that are being used, that are being provided by that server. So does that shall that particular client can access that particular service or not? So that will be occur through this service granting ticket. Next is the ticket plus session key. Okay, so whatever the ticket and the session key will be given to that client, it will confirm that this user can access all those things. Clear? So TGS, what will TGS will do? It will does decrypts the ticket and the authenticator, and it will verify that the particular request and then creates a ticket for the requested service. So finally, ये सारे steps, all these 4 steps are for the authentication of the client. First is the authentication of the client. Second is that the service that client is asking, so we can give that particular service to that client or not. That will be managed by this ticket granting server. Okay, so first thing is that authenticator server that will authenticate the client. Second is that ticket granting server that will see that whatever the service that is being required by that particular client, that the client is asking for that particular service, we should give that service to that particular client or not. Okay, so it will give you that ticket that will create, okay, that will tell you that whatever the request you are verifying is right or not. And finally it will create ticket for the requested service. Okay, So like you have so many servers there in the system. Okay, so for that particular server, it will give you, it will issue you the particular ticket to that client part. Now what will happen, this client is having ticket with it, it will request for the service. Now it has full right to assess the service given by the server. So it will request that service in this fifth step. Okay, so fifth step में क्या होगा, workstation sends tickets and authenticator to the server. So it will send both the things, the ticket also and the service. It will send the ticket and the authenticator to the server that I am the right person and I have full right to assess your service. That will occur in this fifth step. Next is that the sixth portion is there. In the sixth step, what will happen? That server will respond. It will provide server authenticator. Now, this is the only step in which your server is giving your its authentication. Okay? So in this sixth step, what will happen? That server will verifies that the ticket and the authenticator match the grant access to the service. So it will again see that whatever the client information that is available to the server, this client is, so server also give its very we can say that identification to this client, and if both their data will match, then what will happen, they can just if mutual authentication is required, server returns a authenticator. So in the last step, so first steps में क्या था, that client was authenticating, we are making the client authenticator one. Okay, so we were just testing the client that it is a right person or not. Okay, in the last step, what will happen when everything is clear, yes, the client is okay, then server will provide that I am also the right person whom you are asking the service for. Okay, so that client will also provide the server, sorry, the server is also providing the server authenticator in the last steps. I hope this is clear to you. This is quite, we can say, the theoretical point of view, but in my notes, I will give you all the detailed explanation of all these steps. So meanwhile, you just understand that in the case of a Kerberos, we have three things. One is a client, server, and the KDC. Okay, what communication we want? We want a communication, we want a authentication between client and the server part. Okay, so for this particular identification, authentication, we require a third party system here that is known as a Kerberos. In that Kerberos, we have a key distribution center. In that key distribution center, we have three things: authentication server, database, ticket granting server. Okay, so in the first four steps, we are authenticating the client, and in the last step, we are authenticating the server. So firstly, client will just request a ticket and it will grant a ticket for the same, and it is asking for that authentication server. Okay, it is making its own identification over here. After that, it will authentication server will issue the ticket and the session key over here. Okay, and again it will request for the service granting ticket. Service means a request that it is asking for. Okay, service is what, any information, any query that particular client is asking for that particular server over here. Clear? Again, there is a server, it will be requesting the service granting ticket. Finally, that ticket and the session key again will be issued to client, that will contain that this is the right client, this is its ID, okay, this is the time for which it can log into, and it can assess all those things. Okay, again, once your confirmation of the client is done, okay, so once your confirmation of the client is done, it will again ask for the request of the service over here. Okay, so in the fifth step, it will request that service, but before accepting that particular service, here your server will provide you the server authenticate, and after that they can communicate with each other. Clear? This is quite easy. I know this is quite lengthy one. At the in the concept part, this is quite easy to understand. But when you yeah, when you will write all those tests, that will be quite a lengthy portion over here. So you just go through my notes, which I will give you after this lecture, and all those things will be more clear to you. Fine. So if you are clear with this particular topic, kindly raise your hands. So I can pass you the polls for that. Okay. So I'm sharing two polls with you. Okay, before moving further, so you just I'm going to launch that particular post, and you just give answer for the same. Okay, students, I am going to end the poll. Okay, the answer for this question is that Kerberos is an encryption-based system that uses secret key encryption. Okay, so it requests for the secret key encryption. If you remember all those keys that we have discussed, so in that keys also we have a secret key. Okay, we have a client user secret key, we have a TGS secret key, we have a server secret key over here. Okay, so we can use a secret key in the case of this Kerberos part. Clear? Okay, I think I haven't shared my results with you. So this most of the students have given private key. No, we are using secret key concept over here. Clear? Okay, I will discuss another poll also. So I'm going to launch the next poll also. Okay, students, I am going to end this poll. So I am sharing results with you. So the first question was that mechanism to protect private network from outside attack is firewalls. Okay, so we have the concept of a firewall. Okay, we don't use any digital signature formatting or antivirus, but there is a firewall. Now firewall is also a next topic that we will discuss in detail. But meanwhile, you just understand that we can protect a private network from the outside attack is through the firewall. Next is that a digital signature it is a scanned signature. Okay, it is a signature in a binary form or encrypted information or a handwritten signature. So the third option is the right one. That is, it is a encrypted. It is a encrypting information. Okay, that is only the concept of a digital signature part. So I am just stopping this sharing of these results, and meanwhile, I just we will discuss the next topic, that is X.509. Okay, so this is X.509. It is also one of the authentication service we are having over here. So I hope you are clear with the Kerberos parts. That is also one of the that is authentication service. And similarly, we will discuss the next part over here, that is X.509, which is a authentication service over here. So what will happen in this particular, this is X.509. So X over here is the type of a version that we give it to. Okay, so 509, it is basically based on the use of public key cryptography. So it uses public key cryptography. Okay, so it uses the concept of a public key cryptography over here. That what is a this X.509 is. Okay, so it uses the concept of a public key cryptography and digital signature. And digital signature over here. Okay, so it uses public key cryptography and a digital signature. Next is that the digital signature scheme is assumed to require the use of a hash function. So also we use the concept of this digital signature in the form of a hash function. Clear? So X.509 basically uses the concept of public key cryptography and the digital signature. So when we talk about a digital signature in this case, so we are discussing that we are using the concept of a hash function over here. Okay. So what it basically benefit is that of this X.509 is that it is the generation of public key certificate. So it generates public key certificates. Okay, so it generates that public key certificates over here. Okay, so now let's suppose we have a unsigned certificate over here. Okay, we have a unsigned certificate over here. So that means unsigned means that we are not giving any type of authentication to this particular certificate. Okay, so we have an unsigned certificate over here that contain user ID and user public key. It consists of user ID and user public key. So we have an unsigned certificate over here. So that consists of user ID and the user's public key. So what we will do, that we will pass this particular certificate, this particular information, that is the user ID and public key, through this hash function. Okay, so we have passed this particular thing through this hash function. So we get all those data in the encrypted part over here. So we have converted that particular thing into encrypted part. Again, what we are doing, we have used that hash concept of hash function over here. And after that, we have passed this particular hash code into the, we have encrypted that particular hash code part. Okay, so what we are doing over here, we have encrypt hash code to with the CA. CA is the certificate authority. So we can define E as that it will encrypt hash code with CA private key to form signature. Key to form signature. Clear? So it will encrypt hash code with CA private key to form signature. Now what is the CA? That is the certificate authority, certification authority. Okay, so first of all, what happened that we have an unsigned certificate over here which contains the values like user ID and the user public key. Okay, so we have converted this particular thing into the hash code using the hash function. After that, whatever the hash code we have generated, we have encrypted that particular hash code with the CA, that is a certificate authority private key to form a signature. Now we have converted a simple document to the signature part. Okay, that is in the form of a digital signature. Now user, now what will happen that we will change. Now this is the we have a encrypted hash code. Now this values is in the form of a encrypted hash code. Okay, so we have a encrypted hash code over here, and after all, now whatever the certificate we are issuing over here, now this is a signed certificate. Clear? This is your signed certificate. Above was your unsigned certificate, but now we have received the signed certificate. Now recipient can verify signature using CA public key. Now what will happen? Recipient matlab receiver part. So recipient can verify signature using CA public key. Using CA public key. CA public key means certificate, that is a certification authority. Okay, so it can now recipient can verify what was the main aim for this X.509 certificate, that it issues certificates to the sender. ठीक है, so हमारे पास क्या होगा that first of all we will be having an unsigned certificate and we use the concept of this hash code over here, and to this particular hash code we again provide the encryption part, and we have encrypted hash code over here. So what we have done in this particular X.509, we have changed the unsigned certificate to the signed certificate. Now we transfer this signed certificate to the recipient. Now what recipient will do, it will just verify the signature using the CA public key. So it must be having that public key of certificate authority with itself. Why so? Because we are using the CA private key to form signature. Okay, because in the encryption part we have used the CA private key to form signature. So on the other hand, we require a CA public key in order to decrypt that particular message. Clear? So this was regarding that what basically X.509 scheme is. So it is a public key certificate associated with each user. Okay, so these user certificates are assumed to be created by a trusted certificate authority. So basically what will happen that this X.509 scheme will use some trusted certification authority over here. Okay, so it will see that public key certificate, that whatever the document that we have signed with the CA private key, we can check that particular same certificate using the CA public key. Okay, so this is clear to you. So this is this is X.509 X.509, that how we can issue all those things certificate. Now we have a proper structure for this X.509 certificate also. It is not just like that we are just encrypting that particular message using that CA private key, but we have a proper syntax for that particular certificates also. Okay, so I just make that particular diagram. So you can just go through all those things. So I just draw that particular diagram on the blackboard so that you can able to understand each concept easily. हेलो। हाँ जी, गुड आफ्टरनून। हाँ लकी। हाँ
मैम
बोलो।
वो प्रोजेक्ट से रिलेटेड पूछना था।
हाँ बोलो।
यानी इस बार ग्रुप बनेंगे या सिंगल सिंगल बना सकते
मैं
हैं
बेटे
तो?
मंडे को ना मुझे याद कराना, आई विल डिस्कस इन दैट पर्टिकुलर सेशन। ठीक है,
अच्छा।
मंडे को आएगा ना, तो
यस।
वो मैं फिर सर से भी हम बात कर लेंगे। अभी तक एक्चुअली ना हमें कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं है इसके
अच्छा।
प्रैक्टिकल के बारे में। ठीक है, तो
ओके।
अभी हम एक बार एचओडी सर से बात कर लेंगे, फिर आपको बताएंगे। ये ना हो कि हम कुछ बोल दे बाद में कुछ निकल आए कि
जी
इंडिविजुअली
जी।
बनाने हैं कि ग्रुप में बनाने हैं। तो यू
हाँ।
जस्ट वेट फॉर अनदर 2-3 डेज, अदरवाइज आप अपना तैयारी कर लो उसकी कि आपने क्या क्या चीजें करनी है। ठीक है।
यस मैम,
हाँ,
प्रोजेक्ट यानी बनाना किस टाइप का है वैसे?
वही जिसमें फ्रंट एंड हो बैक एंड हो, बस डेट।
अच्छा यानी।
हाँ, बस वैसे ही बनेगा।
ओके, जैसे वो पहले लास्ट आरडीएमएस के बनाने
हाँ
हैं
हाँ,
वो।
बस बस वैसे ही। ये तो लैंग्वेज है, लैंग्वेज में तो देर आर सो मेनी प्रोजेक्ट्स आर देयर।
यस मैम।
ठीक है ना, लैंग्वेज का तो इतना इशू ही नहीं होता। आप किसी
यस।
भी चीज के ऊपर कोई मैनेजमेंट टाइप का प्रोजेक्ट बना लो या कोई प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर दो, बेसिकली तो मैनेजमेंट टाइप के ही बनते हैं प्रोजेक्ट। या कोई
जी।
एप्लीकेशन नई बना दो, कोई गेम बना दो, ऐसा ही है।
हाँ मैम, गेम का ही सोच रहा था
हाँ
क्योंकि।
कोई बात नहीं, बना लो, कुछ भी बना लो।
ओके ओके।
ठीक है, बाकी अभी आप अपनी तैयारी रखो, आप जो करना चाहते हो कर ही जाओ। बस
जी।
ये कंफर्म करना है कि ग्रुप में बनाना है कि बच्चे ने इंडिविजुअल बनाना है।
यस, वो
ठीक है।
बस कंफर्म कर दो,
हाँ
फिर
वो,
अगर ग्रुप में है तो फिर साथ वालों को थोड़ा बहुत काम बता देंगे।
हाँ हाँ, नहीं आप वेट कर लो, मंडे तक वेट कर लो। मंडे को सुबह लेक्चर है तो सुबह आते तो नहीं मैं बात कर सकती,
यस मैम।
पर मैं आई विल टेल यू अबाउट द प्रोजेक्ट इन द लास्ट जो 5-7 मिनट रह जाते हैं, उसमें
यस।
मैं बता दूंगी। ठीक है बेटी।
यस।
ओके।
थैंक यू।
ओके। मनिंदर सर इधर आके ना मेरी वीडियो ऑन कर दो। बच्चा ने कहना पता नहीं मैडम कितने चले गई है। मैं वीडियो ऑफ की हुई है ना सिस्टम दी। मैं क्या पता नहीं क्या ना कितने चली गई मैडम। Okay, students. Okay, I was making this diagram. That's why I just off my video, so that this diagram is quite important. It is related to that X.509 certificate. Okay, so this is basically what your certificate will consist of. Okay, so what we'll discuss over here that is regarding that. Uh, that when I hope you are clear with the concept of this X.509 authentication service, that if it will change the unsigned certificate to the signed certificate. Clear? So now we will discuss that this particular diagram, that in this diagram that what basically when we talk about that we are containing that X.509 certificate. So what basically is available in that X.509 certificate? Clear? So in that case, we have this particular diagram. So this diagram is quite important because many questions can come from this diagram, that what is the version of that X.509 certificate and which version, which particular thing has been launched. So what we, first of all, that we will discuss over here is that we have a version over here. Okay, and this version will decide upon that which current version of this X.509 certificate you are using. So before in the your version 1, we have all those information that is related to the subject public information. Okay, so we have a information regarding this in this version 1. In the version 2, we have added upon that issuer unique identifier and subject unique identifier. ठीक है, so issuer मतलब who will issue that particular certificate, and subject for which particular subject you have issued that particular certificate. That both these identifiers, both these keywords are being added in this particular version 2 part. And in the third version, we have added on the extensions. Okay, so we have added this extension part in the version 3 part. Clear? So all these three are the version of this version 1, 2 and the 3 portion. Clear? So in this particular one, sometimes in exam question may come that extensions were added in which versions of X.509 certificate. So in that case, you have to tell that you are adding this extensions in the third version. Okay, so part of this extensions are added in the third version over here. So we have a version part. The very first thing is the version part. Then we have the certificate serial number over here. So what is that certificate serial number? That will tell you that it is an integer unique value associated with this certificate. So we have a certificate serial number, or we can say that a registration number is there. So we are adding that particular thing in the case of a certificate serial number. Okay, so that may act as a registration number also. Clear? Third thing is that after this particular part, we have a signature algo identifier. Okay, so we have a signature algorithm identifier. So in this particular case, we have a algorithms and all those parameters associated with it. So we will see that which algorithm we have used to sign that particular certificate. So we have added on that signature algorithm identifier that will tell us that which algorithm we will use to identify that particular certificate. Okay, so we are defining the algorithm that is used to sign the certificate, that with the help of a which algorithm we have signed that particular certificate. So that case we defined in this signature algorithm identifier. Clear? So these are the two things that you must understand. So first one was the version that will tell you in which version you are using, that is version 1, 2 or the 3. Second one is your certificate serial number that will define you that what is the particular ID for that certificate. Okay. And the third thing is that signature algorithm identifier that will tell you that which particular algorithm you are using to sign that document. Clear? Next is the issuer name over here. So what is that issuer name? That it will tell us that who will issue the certificate. Okay, so it will tell you that certified authority who will issue that particular certificate. Okay, so name that created and signed this certificate. Issuer name matlab who is issuing that particular certificate, what is the name of that particular that issuer person, that concerned person, and name that created and signed the certificate. So all those things will be available in that issuer name part. Clear? Next is the not before, not after. So this is the period of your validity. So we have it will consist of 2 dates, the first and the last, on which the certificate is the valid. So not before, not after means, so we have to give the authentication date for that particular certificate also, that at which particular period of a time that certificate is valid upon. Okay, so not that is not before and not after. So let's suppose I say that certificate is valid from 1st September to 30th September. So neither that particular certificate is valid at the in the month of August, neither that particular certificate is valid and in the month of the October. Clear? So we have given that period of validity over here, that is not before and the not after part. Next is your subject name. So the next field is the subject name. So the name of the user to whom this certificate refers. So it will tell you that what is the name of the user to whom this particular certificate will refer. So that is the subject name. Okay, your username for which this certificate is issued, that will be mentioned in this particular subject name. Clear? So we will see that the name of the user to whom this certificate will refer, that will be the username for which this certificate has been issued, or the concerned person for which we are issuing that particular certificate. Clear? Next is that subject public key information. अब next हमारे पास what type of information we are having? Subjects public key information over here. So again over here we are having algorithm, parameter and the key. So the public key of the subject मतलब this subject we are talking about. Public key of the subject, this particular subject. Who was this subject to whom we are referring? ठीक है, or the username for which we are issuing that certificate. ठीक है, so the what subjects public information, public key of the subject plus identifier of the algorithm for which this key to be used. Okay, so we are mentioning the algorithm. ठीक है, algorithm is what, that is used for that particular we can say that the algorithm that we are using for that particular we can say that in order to encrypt that particular message. Okay, so we have the public key of the subject plus an identifier of the algorithm for which this key to be used. So we are using the public key of this particular subject plus the algorithm for which we are referring that particular certificate part. Okay, next is the issuer unique identifier. Issuer unique identifier. Who is issuer? Who is issuing that particular certificate over here? Okay, so that is the issuer unique identifier, that is an optional bit string field. So this is one of the optional field. You can just ignore this field also, but it will tell you that which concerned person is issuing that particular certificate. Next is the subject unique identifier. So this is also an optional bit field. Subject unique identifier matlab we are giving identification to the subject. Issuer was a person who is issuing that particular subject. Subject is that person to whom we are issuing that particular this certificate. So both these terms can be used. Both these terms are optional. So it is up to you if you want to use that particular thing. Okay. Next is the extension part. So a set of one or more extensions field. So we have extensions over here in which we can extend a certificate or we can add some particular optional data over here. So that is a set of one or more extension fields over here. So that is the case of a extension. Next is the signature part. So last field is your signature. Again, here in your signature, we have a algorithm, parameter and the encrypted part. So you can see so many signatures over here, that how we are defining all those things. We have a first signature algorithm identifier. Then we have a subject public key information is there. Again we are using signature part over, that is algorithm, parameter and the encrypted data. So signature covers all the other fields of the certificate. It contains the hash code of the other field. Okay, so which is encrypted with the CA private key that we have discussed in the last diagram, in which we have encrypted, where we have used that E over here to encrypt that particular. So it will cover all the other fields of the certificate. So it will contain the hash code of the other field encrypted with the CA private key. So we have used that CA's private key in order to encrypt that particular data with the help of a hash code. Okay, so this field includes the signature algorithm identifier. Again, it will use that signature algorithm identifier like this portion. So we have a algorithm and parameter, both the same things in this part also. Clear? So we have a signature and the algorithm identifier in this case also. Clear? So this is all about that X.509 certificates that we have used over here. Okay. So we have discussed that what basically fields are available in this X.509 certificates. So what basically we require that we are first converting unsigned document to the signed document. Next is that next thing is that we are how we can convert all those things. Okay, how we can change all those things in the while converting is unsigned document to the signed document part. Okay, so next thing is that over here that we have a signature, we have a signature algorithm identifier, we have a period of validity, and next is the subject public key information is there, that is important, and last is the signature part. Clear? So these are all those things that we can use over here while describing the X.509 certificate. So we have a certification authority also. So what is that? That is certification, that is a trusted third party. Okay, so it is not responsible to generate public keys. So certification authority क्या करता है? For your reference, I just write all these things. So I hope you are clear with this X.509 certificate. So if you are clear with this, kindly raise your hands. Okay, so this was related to the X.509 certificate. Now there is a little bit information regarding this CA part, that what basically a certificate authority do. Okay, so we have a certification authority. Okay, so what is basically a certification authority is, whom we say CA also. So we have a certification authority. Okay, so this is a trusted third party. So this is a trusted third party that refers to that particular trusted third that will authenticate both the user and the about the sender and the receiver. Next is that it is not responsible to generate public keys. Not responsible to generate public keys. Okay, so it generates a signature. It will generate a signature. So usually it generates a signature using the public key identification. Okay, so हमारे पास क्या है, basically why we require this certification authority, that is a trusted third party, okay, to whom we are referred to just acknowledge both the sender and the receiver part. Secondly, it is not responsible to generate public keys. Okay, so it cannot itself generate all those public keys. And finally, it help us to generate a signature over here. So that we, why we need to discuss this certification authority, because in case of a X.509 certificate, we require the CA part. Okay, there is a CA part, there is a some certificate authority that will use this particular thing. Clear? So this was all about this X.509 certificates, and this is how we can use all those things while using as a authentication service over here. Clear? So there are two codes related to this particular concept. So I'm going to launch that particular poll. So students, kindly be ready for that. I'm going to launch another two polls. Okay, students, I am going to end this poll. So I am sharing results with you. Okay, Dash is a popular session key creator protocol that requires authentication server and a ticket granting server. So Kerberos is the right answer. KDC is not there. So kindly just check it out that Kerberos is the right answer. So don't go for that KDC part. Okay, KDC we use. This is a whole key. The thing that we use over here is the Kerberos part. Okay, I am going to launch the next poll also. Actually, in this question, we were asking about that that is a proper session key creator protocol. Okay, creator protocol matlab who creates that particular. So this is the Kerberos part, not the KDC part. KDC is one of the element of this Kerberos thing. Clear? There was some light issue. So now I think this is fine. Now I'm going to launch another poll with you. Just wait for a while. Okay, students, I'm launching this poll. Kindly check. Okay, students, I am going to end the poll. Okay, I am sharing results with you. That is in X.509, the user certificate is created by dash. So that is a certificate authority. Okay, so the role of certificate authority is quite important in case of this X.509. So that you must keep in your mind that why we require this why we require this certificate authority, just to provide that user certificate. Clear? And there is one another pool also. So I'm just going to launch this poll. Okay, students, I'm going to end the poll. So I'm sharing results with you. Okay, so extensions are added in which version of X.509? That is in the third version. Okay, so most of the students are given the right answer. So this is not available in the first version or the second version, but it is in the third version. Okay, student, this was all about today's session. So, if you feel like I will just give you that particular notes regarding this both this topic. So, both these topics are quite important, but still you can go for that. I just pass my notes to you, and you just go through all those notes. Okay, so if you feel like any problem, you can discuss with me. So in today's session, we have basically two diagrams that both the diagrams are quite, we can say that quite lengthy one. That's took quite time to draw all those diagram on the blackboard. But still, if you feel like any problem or if you missed something, you can go through my notes and you can ask me later on. Yes, Mani, any problem?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Sachin.
Ma'am, I want to know what's the difference between secret key and private key?
Because secret key is related to the concerned person. Okay, so
Okay,
every person has a particular secret key with that. Clear? So
okay,
sometimes secret private होता है कि it is available individually to that particular person. ठीक है? तो सीक्रेट की क्या होता है कि ऐसा नहीं है, कुछ इंडिविजुअल पावर नहीं है, बट हम उसको बस छुपा देते हैं अपने लिए. ठीक है ना? सो दैट इट कुड बी यूज्ड लेटर ऑन.
okay, ma'am.
ठीक है। पब्लिक 3 कीज होती है हमारे पास ना, सीक्रेट की, पब्लिक की और प्राइवेट की। ठीक है।
Yes, ma'am.
पब्लिक होती है ना, वो वी कैन इजीली गिव टू एनी कंसर्न पर्सन। ठीक है।
Yes.
तो जो हमारे पास सीक्रेट की है वो होती, ऐसा नहीं है कि हम उसको ओपनली दे सकते हैं, बट इट इज
Yes.
कंसर्न विद दैट पर्टिकुलर पर्सन। हम किसी को भी बोल सकते हैं कि तुम इस की को छुपा कर रख लो। ठीक है ना। सो दैट इज नॉट रिलेटेड, मतलब somehow they are same also, but in some another end they are quite different, they are quite different also.
Okay. Somehow it is having some difference with
Yeah.
the. Okay.
हाँ, इन देयर मतलब मार्किंग में वी कैन डिफाइन दैट कि विच इज अ सीक्रेट की एंड विच इज द पब्लिक। बेसिकली हम दो ही कीज को यूज करते हैं, दैट इज अ सीक्रेट प्राइवेट कीज एंड द पब्लिक की पार्ट।
Yes, ma'am.
ठीक है। तो हमारे पास क्या है, प्राइवेट क्या होता है, दैट इज वी नीड टू जस्ट शेयर दैट पर्टिकुलर थिंग कि ये हमारा ही है, वी कैन नॉट गिव इट टू एनीवन एल्स। ठीक है। तो
Yes, ma'am.
सिमिलरली सीक्रेट इज जस्ट मतलब वी आर जस्ट हाइडिंग इट फॉर सम टाइम एंड आफ्टर दैट वी कैन इजीली ट्रांसमिट टू एनी पर्सन।
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Thank you.
और वी कैन ऑल्सो रेफर दिस सीक्रेट की, लाइक अगर हमारे पास कोई की सेम आ गई है, ठीक है, तो हम आपस में दो जने वी आर शेयरिंग दैट पर्टिकुलर थिंग, but that doesn't mean that key is a public key. Okay, that is a secret key that we can transmit to each other, but private key में ऐसा केस नहीं है। प्राइवेट में की में we cannot give that key to any person. Okay. Okay, students, I hope you are clear with all these terms. Okay, so if you feel like any problem, you can call me later on, and I just transmit all those notes related to this particular topic. Thank you very much. Thank you for your patience listening. Okay.